welcome to NTD China News. I'm Kathleen Zhang, and here are today's top headlines. China's press freedom debate spurs a rare public protest in Guangdong. A chemical leak at a coal plant in Shanxi province goes unreported for 5 days, and 2 women in Beijing succumb to swine flu, the first 2 deaths since 2009. China ranks high up in the world in terms of how much the government controls information. That includes the media, online or in other forms of publication. Those with the technical know-how will circumvent the censorship rather than opposing authorities head-on. But there are signs that may be changing after a media group in southern China sparked a rare public debate about media censorship.
The censorship row over a New Year's article has set off China's first major protest for 2013. Guangdong-based Southern Weekly is used to the editorial knife of propaganda officials. But this time, the propaganda chief went too far, and the fight for free press has gone unusually public. On Monday, dozens of supporters for Southern Weekly rallied outside the headquarters of the Southern Media Group. Most here are young students. Their message: protect media freedom.
If today we don't speak up when Southern Weekly gets into trouble, no one would speak for us if something bad happens to one of us here in the next second. We share a common fate. We would be proud of every person or media that bravely steps forward despite the danger.
The free speech debate began over this New Year's editorial. Editors at Southern Weekly originally wrote about the need for the Chinese regime to follow the Constitution. But the version that went to print turned into a tribute to the Communist Party. This man, Tuo Zhen, the propaganda chief of Guangdong, changed the article without the knowledge of Southern Weekly.
Maybe many reporters have been unable to sleep since their articles were edited. What we have to do now is to support them.
The demonstration is a test for China's new leadership. Local police allowed the protest to happen, a sign that authorities are careful to contain the rising public anger over censorship. Aside from Monday's protest, the debate has run high on Chinese internet. Several open letters are circulating online, calling on Tuo Zhen to step down. There are also hints officials are trying to muffle Southern Weekly. On Sunday, a message on its official Weibo account denied the original article was censored. That post drew criticisms from Chinese citizens. Several of Southern Weekly's reporters have also distanced themselves from the post, saying they are planning to strike.
Chinese citizens are upset over another type of censorship. Local governments didn't report a chemical leak that polluted a river in Shanxi province for 5 days. Cities downstream of the leak saw a shortage of bottled water after the leak was made known.
A chemical leak from a coal plant in Shanxi province spilled around 40 tons of the dangerous substance aniline. It happened on December 31st last year, but was not reported for 5 days. More than 9 tons of the toxic chemical seeped into the Zhuozhang River, contaminating the water source for over 1 million people.
The impact of an industrial incident like this is very damaging, especially when it happens upstream. The toxic chemical flows into water. Also, with the rainy season, whatever seeped into the soil will also be washed into the waterways.
The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency says aniline can harm the lungs and respiratory tract. It's also a possible carcinogen. It's believed a broken pipeline at the Tianji Fanyuan factory caused the spill. The plant is a subsidiary of state-owned Shanxi Luan Mining Group Company Limited. 2 cities downstream of the coal plant shut off their water supply without warning. Citizens were angry that the municipal government did not tell them in time to properly prepare. The mayor of Zhangzi City made a formal apology on Monday, saying his government underestimated the severity of the incident. He said the company only reported a fraction of the amount leaked and thought that it would be cleaned up before it caused any harm. An environmental professor at Guangxi University told state media that incidents like these are becoming more common. He blamed both the government and the industry's blind pursuit of profit and lack of environmental controls.
The H1N1 flu virus that sparked global panic in 2009 has claimed 2 more victims in Beijing. A 65-year-old cancer patient and a 22-year-old migrant worker died from H1N1, both within the past 10 days. H1N1 is commonly known as swine flu. The 2 women are its first recorded deaths in China since 2009. Beijing's health authorities said that the 2 women were already of poor health, but the director of the Beijing Centers for Disease Control and Prevention acknowledged that the city has seen a spike in swine flu cases this winter. The recent record low temperatures in Beijing are believed to have contributed to this. The H1N1 flu virus is usually spread by direct contact between pigs and humans. Between 2009 and 2010, the virus killed at least 80 people in Beijing. And we're going to take a short break, but coming up, the family of a former Henan official apparently owned 29 homes. He is now under investigation. Questions remain in the aftermath of a fatal fire at an orphanage in Guangdong province, and these farmers are breaking the ice for the sake of their sea cucumbers. A fire in Shanghai has taken the lives of at least 6 people, and paramedics are searching in the ruins for more casualties.
A fire claimed at least 6 lives and injured more than 10 at a marketplace in Shanghai on Monday. The fire broke out in a 5-acre farm produce wholesale market in Pudong and was so intense people had little warning. One vendor managed to escape the flames, but 5 of her family members were burned.
It was too quick. There was even no time to see where the fire started or what caused it. When you saw the fire, it was everywhere. I haven't seen such a large fire even on TV. The fire just chased you every step you moved. There were explosions above my head. Maybe something was burning. It was so scary.
A doctor at Shanghai Hospital said 2 of the survivors are in a serious condition. An old woman who suffered burns to over 80% of her skin is in the most dangerous condition. A little girl, 40% of whose skin was burned, is in danger too. The little girl also suffered moderate inhalation injuries and had a tracheotomy. Both are in a critical condition. Rescuers are still searching the site for more casualties, and the cause of the fire is under investigation. The Shanghai Central Agricultural Market is the city's largest wholesale market for farm produce and byproducts.
A former housing administration official in central China's Henan province, Zhai Zhenfeng, is under investigation for corruption. A whistleblower had exposed his family for owning 29 homes. Authorities in Henan's capital, Zhengzhou, filed a case after a preliminary probe by the district authority. The investigation was in reaction to netizen outrage. Last week, a whistleblower posted on Weibo, China's microblogging service, that Zhai's daughter owned 11 homes and had 2 ID cards. Zhai is among a number of Chinese officials who have been targeted by the country's netizens and later investigated by disciplinary watchdogs. Zhai was removed from his post in 2011 for previous offenses. The plight of China's homeless children has been in focus recently after 5 young boys died in Guizhou province when they tried to keep warm inside a dumpster. Last Friday, another 7 children died in a fire at a private orphanage in central Henan province, and some are asking whether Chinese officials should be doing more to provide aid to disadvantaged children.
A fire last Friday killed 7 orphans in Lankao County in China's central Henan province. Now questions are being raised as to who should bear responsibility. It was a private orphanage, and Yuan Lihai was the caretaker. For over 20 years, she had taken in more than 100 abandoned children despite her own limited finances. Local media are now asking whether authorities failed to provide proper aid to the children. One day after the deadly fire, Lankao officials acknowledged Yuan was not qualified to adopt children, claiming she had broken the law.
If the government says she was illegally adopting the children, then as far as I understand, the municipal government had the responsibility to provide aid to these orphans and look after them.
When asked why the government did not take care of the children, Yuan replied that building an orphanage was not priority for the county.
If the government had the means to take in the kids but did not, then they've failed in their duties. It's clear that these officials are trying to argue their way out of their wrongdoing.
The caretaker, Yuan Lihai, was not home at the time of the fire. She was taking the older children to school when the fire broke out at 8:30 a.m. Yuan is known amongst locals as the loving mom. Neighbors said she treated the children well. Local media reports she was hospitalized on Saturday after she fainted due to emotional stress. 18 children were living with Yuan when the fire broke out. Most had mental or physical disabilities from birth. The 10 remaining children have since been sent to a nearby welfare home. One child was critically injured in the fire and is receiving treatment.
In a song of fire and ice, ice can be pretty deadly itself. Now we move to eastern Shandong province, where farmers of sea cucumbers are frantically breaking sea ice, trying to keep their charges from suffocating. Thick ice off the coast of Rongcheng City is an alarming development for these farmers, who rely on sea cucumbers for a living.
Sea cucumber farmers in China's eastern Shandong province are helping the sea creatures to breathe a little easier. They're breaking the ice so oxygen can get in.
The ice froze earlier this year than usual and is thicker than before. The ice has a great impact on the growing of sea cucumbers, so we have to break the ice to let oxygen in. Otherwise, many of the sea cucumbers would die.
Xing Xiujie says if the ice becomes too thick for the light to shine through, the sea cucumbers will die from lack of oxygen. Local media report that some 6.6 thousand acres of coastline in Rongcheng City has been covered by ice. 2/3 of this breeding pool has been frozen, and farmers are trying to keep it from freezing more. Sea cucumber, also called sea slug, is considered a delicacy in many Asian countries and is usually served on holidays and special occasions. Both the animal itself and its roe are farmed. It is believed to have medicinal properties that range from curing impotence to constipation. Most sea cucumbers are caught in the ocean, but recently farmers have found a way to farm them domestically. With Chinese New Year coming up, this farmer says he's planning to aerate the water to save his animals if need be.
And that's all for today's NTD China News. I'm Kathleen Zhang. Remember, you can always catch more from us on the web at ntd.tv or at the new NTD on China YouTube channel. Coming up next is China Focus with Shelley Zhang, where they'll be talking about China's censorship debate.